Do you have a paid pro ChatGPT account? If so, you might not be optimizing it. Last night I was on a chat with somebody and I know they've had a paid chat account for quite a long time. I naturally assumed that they knew what I was talking about when I said, are you using custom GPTs? The conversation went on for a while. That was my fault entirely because I didn't check their knowledge and their understanding. It turns out I've not been using the custom GPT function. I talk a lot about custom GPTs, but what actually are they? Well, simply put, a custom GPT is something that you could build yourself. You train it in your own data and it provides you with very tailored, very specific results. You can share it publicly, like I have with my HR business planner, or you can keep it just for yourself. A custom GPT provides very specific, very focused outputs, whether that's creating, I don't know, a LinkedIn post, or whether it is creating business proposals, or even creating your next HR strategy. That's where the power of a custom GPT truly comes in. It's not generic. You're not creating several different prompts and creating a big long line of threads that you won't remember where it is. You're creating something that understands you, your tasks, and your activities that you need to carry out. As I've said, it could be that you're narrowing very, very down to creating policies and procedures for your company. Or it could be that you're using it to create reports for your clients. You can also find community GPTs. That's GPTs that are available to the public that can do several different things. So let's head on over and have a look at what ChatGPT does. So let's explore briefly GPTs and some of the community ones that are available. And if you have a look at this function here, Explore GPTs, you can then search for various different GPTs that are available already. And you can see here that Chat automatically tells you the ones that are featured and the ones that are trending, the ones that are available to them themselves. And then you can see all of the different functions here. So for example, if you were struggling and you wanted ideas for LinkedIn content, you could see that you could use some of the ones that are already created. And whilst this is a great start, it's not going to be speaking in your tone and your style. So I always find that it's better to start creating your own custom GPT that understands and learns about you and your experiences and what you want to do. And the one thing with these is that if you use these, think they are available to everyone, so they are going to output a lot more generic content than training your own GPT. Whereas let's have a look at creating your own version. But before we do that, I want to show you and give you a breakdown of my HR business planner custom GPT that I've created specifically for HR consultants, just so that you get an idea of what it is before I show you briefly how to create your own. So you can see here I've accessed the HR Business Planner Pro. I can press Start and it will come up with the first question. Now, this will give you a series of questions and depending on your answers will take you down a particular road to help you build an action plan for your HR consultancy. You could do the same with a HR strategy one. So this is how you would use it, but let's have a look at it behind the scenes. So this is what it looks like behind the scenes. We've got here where we saw on the screen the picture that you can change at any point. You can upload your own version or you can ask DALL-E to create one for you. We've got the name here, we've got the description here, and we've got the instructions. I'm not going to go through all of the instructions, but to say that initially we're giving it instructions around privacy and confidentiality, and we're talking about its core purpose. There's some other questions around asking one question at a time, and specific questions are given as examples, etc. We've got here a conversation starter. Start. Here we could add up to 5 conversation starters within these custom GPT instructions. And then where it really gets interesting and where it really gets powerful is the training data that we've given it. Now, for this example, you can see I've given it training data specifically for 7 different things, plus I've given it the core security instructions too. So I may have trained this in action planning frameworks, or trained it to be a business coach or a specialist in HR consultancy, and added all of that as training data so it starts to customize itself. And you can see here, I've also told it some content boundaries about not providing legal advice, etc. So you really can customize your GPTs. Let's look at building one of our own. So when you click on the Create a Custom GPT tab, you have 2 options. There's a lot more to this, but I just want to give you a bit of an overview and a bit of a flavour for it. I would always recommend that you start to build out your instructions in a Google or a Word document first, rather than build it directly in here, because you're going to be amending it over time. So you can see if we use the Create tab, we can give it an instruction here. We've said that we want it to act as a learning and development specialist and build training plans for my organisation. So it's going to be updating, and it will then start to give you a series of questions that you can answer in order to start building it. And you can see this example here. However, I always prefer to use the Configure button. This is where you can upload a picture here. You can name your GPT, you can give it a description, and you can see from this Create button, it's already started to build out instructions for you. However, if you start in a Google Doc, you can really give it some specific examples, your tone, your style, etc., and everything that you need for it. It's provided you with some conversation starters, which you can amend, remove, add different ones, etc. And then here is where you can upload files. Your files typically might be your privacy instructions and your security instructions and your training data. I won't get into that. Training data could be formatted in a particular way that optimizes things, and your instructions obviously can be as well. You can see here you can search the web. You can use Canvas, which means that you can interact with it as it is creating things. You can turn on or off any of these at any point. So if you don't want it to ever create images for you, you don't have to, but turn it on if you want it to analyze data, etc. And then you simply click Create, and you've got the option to either have it just for yourself, to have it with anyone for the link, so other members in your team can use it, but they can't amend the instructions for you, or you can put it out into the store for public use. Now that was a very, very whistle-stop tour of creating custom GPTs, and just as a reminder, a custom GPT is used to train it in your own data and give it your own specific set of instructions, which means its output will be very narrow and very focused, and therefore will be optimized and would work much better than just using a series of prompts. That is, just asking it questions. I hope that has helped you.